Recording? Testing? I'm grabbing my phone for voice memos to be sure because it seems pretty dark. Hold on. That's the zoom. That's the focus. This is crazy. This is the first time I've used a camera with a viewfinder, which is actually quite nice. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Welcome to a new video. We're doing a knitting podcast. You know them, you love them, they're a classic. I have 4 pieces I want to talk about today, 2 of which are finished. It's been a while, so there might be some stuff that has been finished in between, although I doubt it. Let me check really quick. I doubt anyone is new here, so I might as well just start straight away. Knitting podcast. I don't have new yarn I want to discuss. I really just want to discuss these 4 pieces because they feel like a nice unity of things, or 5 actually, a nice unity. Let's start with this one. This is the oldest one, or like the one I finished earliest. I finished this one on the train to Paris on the 12th of January, I think is when I left for Paris. And it's yarn that I bought in Bergen in Norway. I like buying yarn in different places because then I have like a piece that really sticks with me, because then I'm like, yeah, this is the yarn I got in Norway. So I got this yarn, always forget the name of the brand, but I'll put it on the screen. I bought it in the store Far in Bergen, and the lady who worked there, she had the most beautiful shop and she was the sweetest ever. So I have this sweater that I made with it, and I called it the Pink Pony sweater because, I don't know, it's bright pink, which I'm obsessed with right now. I have a pair of pants in the same color of magenta. It's rough merino, or it's just like pure wool, but it's like rough rustic, which I love. I went with a little bit of a wider, voluptuous, beautiful neckline in 1x1 ribbing. It's a very boxy sweater. Honestly, let me zoom out a bit now that I can do that. It's pretty short. I can't lie, I should have made it a little bit longer because now it's almost wider than it is long, which I'm not a great fan of. But I did add a beautiful European shoulder, and I worked cables. As you can see, I love doing that, like the few edge stitches when increasing instead of increasing right away kind of nicely flow into the stripe and into the cable. I was inspired by Ralph Lauren sweaters, which are very classic, but I think look very great and very timeless as well. And I'm very happy with it. I am planning on making a pattern for it, although that might take a while, honestly, because it's spring now, so I think I'm gonna save this because I'm really busy with university. I'm gonna save this for next fall, for next winter, so that I can have like enough time to have it tested and stuff, because it is a pretty ginormous sweater, so it only makes sense to have it properly graded. I think I added maybe a little bit too much of short row shaping in the back because it is a little bit longer in the back than it is at the front, which gives it that crop look, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I think it's alright after all. Like, I don't think that's a necessary evil. That's not the right word to use, but anyway, it's extremely warm today in Belgian terms, so I'm not gonna keep on the sweaters the whole time in between. But let me show you the next finished object, which I think this is in chronological order. As you can see, it's inside out. There are still some ends that are not woven in. I got this yarn for this project while I was in Aus, and I bought a sweater. I bought a novice sweater by Petite Knit, a thrift shop close to where I lived, and I really loved the yarn, and I decided to rework it. So I unraveled the sweater, and I'm sorry, it feels like sacrilege to unravel a Petite Knit sweater, but I did. And because I knit up a swatch without washing the yarn first, and I kind of like the way how the yarn didn't lay flat. You know how you can see that there is, I like how you see that there is some texture to it, which I'm a really big fan of. The pattern is the Eve long sleeve by Mathilde Rowan. It has a keyhole detail. The neckline, I think, is absolutely gorgeous. The keyhole is like that low to a point where I'm always wearing something underneath a wool sweater because I can't wash them that often and I don't want them to get dirty. I don't want to get sweat in them and whatnot. So it's kind of impossible for me to show skin here, except if I wear absolutely nothing underneath it, which I'm not planning on doing. Some remarks on the pattern. I absolutely love her designs. They're not the most size inclusive, but she's a very new knitwear designer like me, so I absolutely understand. But there are some, because they're translated from Danish, there are some typos in there, and it's very essential. Like, there's no extra elaboration. If you don't know how to kind of, how should I say this, independently, or know how a sweater, for example, when I saw this pattern, I knew from the beginning how it was going to be structured or how to make it. And so when I read it, I was only paying attention to the numbers, but I knew how to increase. I even made some of my own changes on how I was increasing. I knew how to do short rows. I knew how to connect the front and back under the shoulders or under the armpits. So for me it was okay, but I can imagine for someone that this is their first pattern, it's a bit harder to follow, because she would just say things like, when you've done this part of the neckline, now do the other side in reverse. But to people who are used to reading petite knit patterns, or even My Favorite Things Knitwear, it can be very confusing to have that little extra information. So I personally wouldn't recommend it for beginning knitters, only if you kind of already have some idea of how you can adapt it yourself, or kind of, you know, I want to say the Dutch version, like je plan trekken, like you kind of just do whatever, like you know how to handle it. I really don't know how else to explain it. But overall, I'm very happy with it. The problem is kind of because it has this kind of t-shirt fit, and you just cast off the arms like this, you're kind of left with a rolling edge. Same goes for the bottom. Like it rolls up. It's quite a nice length, but it rolls up quite a bit, which you have to add some length to it for it to fit properly, considering it rolls up. I don't like the look of it rolling up, but really I think adding a little bit of ribbing to this would ruin the look, so I just kind of go with the flow, and I still really like it. But I really like it. I think it's a beautiful piece, it's a beautiful design, but the pattern could use some more editing or some revisions, I think, to make it a little bit clearer. I'm sorry my voice is really raspy because I've been drinking a lot of coffee, which not a good idea, but anyway. This next piece I finished today. I mean, like, I was blocking it and it was dry. It looks like a children's sweater. Reasons for that is because it's slightly tight fitting, and the sleeves are 3/4. I saw a picture on Pinterest, this one, and I've been posting a lot about it on my Instagram, and I was absolutely obsessed with the flowers going all the way down to body, and I started knitting it, and the only thing available online was a chart, and it was in Japanese. So numbers, everything, I was just counting it and thinking, oh, like 90 stitches, that seems like a normal amount for a neckline, whatever. But by the time I finished the yoke, it was way too narrow for it to be an oversized sweater, what it was supposed to be. So I was like, fuck, okay, I've already knit up to this point. I don't want to start over again, because I almost never knit color work, and this was already kind of a triumph for me, although there are a lot of mistakes in the first repeat of flowers, but that's fine. So I kind of put a poll on my Instagram. I was like, I don't know what to do because I don't want to unravel the whole thing, and I kind of want to finish it, but it's just not the shape that I want it to be. And people suggested, like, why not finish the sweater but don't put all the effort of making the sunflowers go all the way down the body. That way you still have your color work partially and you don't have to start over. And I was like, yeah, maybe that's a good idea, because I don't want to start over so it could be an oversized sweater, but I also don't want to continue the color work all the way down if it's already not the fit that I would like it to be. So that's what we did, and I ended up really liking it. The only problem I have is the neckline, which I'll show you in a second while I'm wearing it. The yoke, I don't know if it's just me interpreting the chart wrong, but when you wear it, it's very tight fitting around the neck. So instead of the neckline kind of stands up, like kind of open, instead of being like this, nice and round. Because there were quite a lot of stitches in the beginning, I remember, and only here it started increasing, so it kind of has this almost mock neck look to it, so that's why I didn't really know what to do with the neckline. Now I just did a twisted rib, which I'm already not a big fan of twisted rib, but it keeps riding up to the point that it stands like this, which is not a look. I think it could have been nice if I didn't add the rib, if it was just the pattern standing like this on its own. But the problem is that it rolls outward like that because you don't have an edge. So I don't know what to do. Maybe I need to start over or something, but I currently don't like the way it's standing up. For the sleeves, the finishing, I did an I-cord edge so that it kind of looks like it's rolled up, but it's actually just an I-cord edge. And also, at first I was considering to have the sleeves be full length with kind of a, how do you call that, like a bell shape, but I don't know why, I just changed my mind halfway through and I made them into 3/4 sleeves. At first I was like making them up to here, but then I thought I looked a bit too prissy, so now I made them just a little bit below the length of my elbow, so that automatically kind of scrunches up like this, and it has a bit of a more slouchy fit, which I really like. Also, the sleeves are both a different amount of stitches. Like, this one's wider than this one, which not great, but I mean, for a color work thing, I'm very proud of the color work, I can tell you that. Let me show you, like, I'm wearing very low-waisted pants, so it kind of looks weird. but I am very happy with the end result. It's a black sweater, so it's really hard to show the details, but I did twisted rib on the bottom as well, like a tiny bit. It's very strange because I'm not a twisted rib girl at all, so this is new for me in a way. God, I cut my bangs and they looked really good the first few days, but now they've just been really chunky and like pieces have been falling out of it. And also my hair, I don't know if it's the camera, my hair looks orange. Like it's supposed to be blonde, but it looks orange. The last thing I have, I have two more things, sorry. The last two things I have are current works in progress. First of all, one of them is presented in my beautiful project bag by Mood, which is made out of leather. Not the most convenient design, I can tell you. I think that's why it's discontinued as well. Because when you fully tighten the drawstring, you would just have an insanely long drawstring. And also it's too big to fit in a purse, so you would have to carry it as a purse, kind of. Let me quickly demonstrate what I have in here. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, I think, on my Instagram, but I'm knitting the Maggie cardigan by Petite Knit because it's been a while since I have been making a Petite Knit pattern in gifted yarn from Krimka Soul Wool, and I was planning, or at first I was making the zipper sweater with the mohair that I got from them with this merino. I thought the color match would have been better than it actually was, because as you can see, this is what the color match ended up being. I don't like that. It looks marbled and I don't like that at all. So I decided to unravel it and make two separate projects with it. So the first one is the Maggie cardigan. I'm making a few changes. I'm making a size S. Usually I make a size extra small for Petite Knit because I wanted it to be not baggy, but a little less fitting the way it did for her. And instead of 3.5mm needles, I'm making it on 4 just because I thought gauge-wise that just looked nicer with the merino. I've noticed a few things with this yarn. I've worked with the thicker version of this as well, the 70 meters. This is the 110. It is buttery soft, but I don't know, I think I just had a bad batch of yarn. I would be knitting, and I don't know if there's an example here, but the thread would be like falling apart. I don't know how to explain it. It would be all fluffy and like at a point of ripping, which not great, but we made it work. It's been a while since I've made something so boring, you know, one color, 4mm needles, but the construction of this has been really interesting. It has a small European shoulder, if you can tell, and set-in sleeves that are made while knitting it. But now I'm just at the point of working the length of the body, which is an insanely boring process, especially annoying if you're making a cardigan because you can't go in around, you have to go back and forth, which can be really, really boring. But taking this with me to France this week, we have an 11-hour car ride ahead of us, so this is what I'll be working on. I was thinking about bringing this with me to France because I'm gonna use this camera to practice some photography and stuff, but it's gonna be too hot to wear it because this is like a mix of recycled yarn, wool with acrylic as well, and alpaca, so it's sweating hot, this thing. But anyway, it's a fun project. It's like an easy one to work on during class because you don't really have to count. It's just like the length of the body and you just go. Like this I wouldn't bring with me into class because it's just way too intricate. Then, before I continue rambling, I'm so preoccupied now with the way my hair looks. Also, my skin is doing terrible, but that's why I'm kind of zoomed out. We're not gonna focus on that now. I have a second project in here that I might take with me to France. I don't know, not yet, because I'm actually going to France and I'm gonna study the whole time, so it's on shorties right now, so it's really not obvious. I already showed this in my last video and there's really nothing that has changed so far. I want to make this kind of a top, but in mohair, and as you can see with stripes, because this is the mohair from the zipper sweater that I unraveled and a random mohair I had lying around in white. I don't want to do buttons all along the front. I want it to be closed, but because the neckline is so tight fitting, you can't just stretch mohair to such a point that you can pull it over your head and have it be as tight to that point. So I did do some back and forth. I did go back and forth to have an opening, and then I'm just gonna add 2 buttons like this so that I can pull it over my head and then close it off. And then I just started doing raglan increases. So this is going to be more of a statement piece top rather than an actual practical summer top because it's going to be extremely hot and itchy, but it will look gorgeous on pictures. Yeah, more than that I can't really say about that. Okay, I think that catches me up with everything I'm doing at the moment. Being driven insane by my hair. My camera is running out of storage and battery, and I have to continue working for school. So, very short video. I know, very rushed as well, but I'm sometimes with the knitting podcasts, I want to keep you guys up to date because in a way, filming these also soothes my brain and helps me get an overview of what the fuck I'm actually working on. And so I just wanted to get it out quickly, you know? Just, it's quick. I don't like talking too much about like the details of a project because there's really not that much to talk about. And I like to keep them a little short and snappy. Maybe it's my short attention span, I don't know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope the improved quality of this camera, I don't know, maybe heightened your viewing experience, I don't know. If you want to buy some of my patterns, you can find them in the link in my description. I know it's summer, there's not much coming up. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can do that, it's also in my bio. You can also go to TikTok. TikTok is less knitting related oftentimes. I also don't use it that much, as I always say. And if you want to stick around, go ahead and subscribe. That would be really fun and really nice. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. I don't know why I'm making this so awkward now. Okay, I think I'm just really self-conscious about the way I look right now. So, okay, bye-bye.